Beyond repetition, actors must develop an ability to approach text in a neutral, mechanical way, stripping away all preconceptions, habitual emphases, and emotional overlays. By learning lines without emotional interpretation, actors allow each word to be a blank slate. This approach helps actors avoid falling into familiar rhythms or tones, enabling a new depth of emotional flexibility. The aim is to memorize lines as precisely as possible while remaining relaxed and open to emotional influence, which can arise naturally rather than being imposed. To learn text in a purely mechanical manner, the actor must first master it precisely, and then set aside preconceived associations tied to cadence or tone. An actor's body should be similarly relaxed and receptive. When rigid or tense, one's body resists spontaneous response and restricts emotional availability. Practicing relaxation techniques can help an actor become more open to impulses rather than fixed reactions. Physical tension hinders emotional expression, thus, a relaxed body and mind allow actors to be more responsive to their scene partners and influences around them. By cultivating a neutral stance and neutralising habitual body language, actors become flexible enough to respond authentically to the influences in the moment. Actors must train themselves to recognize impulses rather than merely reacting to cues. Picking up on impulses in a partner's behavior is key, rather than simply waiting for their line to end. This fosters a more spontaneous interaction, allowing for real improvisational energy within scripted dialogue. The actor should focus on catching the emotional impulse that arises at the beginning of their partner's speech, and sustain that awareness until it's appropriate to deliver their line. This practice fosters a deeper connection to the scene, freeing actors from rigid, predefined timings and allowing their response to be based on genuine impulses. To achieve this, an actor must have complete command of the script. True familiarity with the lines lets actors respond from within the script's framework, without simply reciting memorized text. While doing this, they should practice moving away from overly academic repetition that focuses purely on rote mechanics. Repetition should allow moment-to-moment responsiveness rather than aimless recital. Practicing lines with mechanical precision frees actors from relying on prior interpretations or vocal habits, thereby permitting a broader range of genuine emotional reactions. When actors feel they are becoming too mechanical, they should reset their approach to repetition, so it remains active rather than academic. In exploring wishful thinking as a tool for imagination, actors should approach creative prompts not with realism or practicality, but with extravagance and originality. Imagining scenarios or desires that are beyond the ordinary or realistic allows actors to access parts of their imagination that would otherwise remain untapped. Rather than picturing mundane, everyday desires, actors can cultivate ideas that are grandiose and filled with pure imagination. This imaginative openness becomes essential for the later work of preparation, where personal emotional responses must be self-stimulated for a scene. Actors should further understand that scenic conventions on stage serve as tools for audience immersion rather than emotional immersion. It is unnecessary for actors to visualize literal stage directions or props with perfect fidelity. Instead, emotional reality should be central to their performance. For instance, walking to a window or making stage directions are audience-oriented conventions, not literal cues for the actor's emotional state. The actor's emotional response should come from within, regardless of the physical stage setting. Preparation for a scene should allow actors to access emotional responses that align with the situation of the character. By rehearsing with specific emotional circumstances in mind, the actor can add depth to an otherwise straightforward interaction. Practicing this skill can help actors react truthfully to their partners in the scene, resulting in performances that feel authentic rather than forced. Whether an actor is supposed to play anger, joy, or indifference, they must become skilled at incorporating these emotional states into their performance in a way that feels spontaneous rather than rehearsed. When learning a script, actors should memorize it to the point that its delivery feels second nature. The initial mechanical practice is only a foundation, allowing the actor to ultimately build an authentic emotional response to the material. Repeating lines neutrally, without added emphasis, is the first step towards developing a performance that can adapt fluidly to any interaction. The goal is not to create fixed emotional responses, but to let each repetition of the line be affected by the scene's current dynamics. By keeping the text emotionally open, actors give themselves room to experience and express emotions in response to their scene partner rather than in response to the lines themselves. In performing exercises based on emotional circumstances, actors strengthen their ability to use improvisation to generate real responses. Through the addition of an emotional circumstance, the actor can practice how to respond instinctively to various dynamics. This builds versatility and deepens the actor's connection to the material. Unlike scenes, these exercises lack scripted text and rely purely on the emotional state introduced, which the actor then must sustain naturally throughout the interaction. For memorization, it is essential to avoid associating lines with specific emotions, tones, or cadences. Attaching a fixed emotion to a line too early in the learning process limits the actor's range. Emotional responses should arise from the current scene's conditions rather than from memorized delivery. This practice results in lines that, once memorized without emotional attachment, can later be infused with authentic emotion based on the specific influences present in the moment. Avoiding fixed associations encourages actors to explore a broader emotional range within their performance. The goal for actors is to achieve a combination of technical command over the script and a relaxed openness to emotional spontaneity. By learning lines as neutrally as possible, keeping the body responsive, and responding to impulses rather than cues, actors prepare themselves for performances that feel honest, grounded, and dynamic. Practicing these exercises helps actors dismantle personal habits and discover deeper emotional authenticity, leading to performances that are rooted in the immediacy of the present moment rather than constrained by preconceptions.